While we're gathering around the campfire, we just want to let you know we are not what you would call experts. What we do have is a love for researching and discussing the lore of cryptids, creatures,
and an occasional spooky woman that can eat our soul.
So if you are in need of immediate help with the chupacabra in your yard, please consult someone else.
Also, this podcast isn't for kids. These campfire stories can contain graphic and explicit content that may not be suitable for young campers, so listener discretion is advised.
Hey campers, my name's Kimmy, and I'm here with my co-host Ryan.
Hey guys, welcome back to Aloreing, our folklore podcast where we tell you the history and stories of different legends and lore from around the world.
I really feel like I should have pictures on popsicle sticks, like elementary school teachers for the video to be like legends and lore, and then a third hand comes up
From
with the world one. Well, getting right into it, what did you find Aloreing this week, Ryan?
So this last weekend, I went to the local Highlander Games, which is like a Scottish festival where they do like strongman competitions, and it was crazy.
Ooh, that sounds delightful.
They were like, one of the competitions, like they have a pitchfork, like an old school pitchfork, and they have to like take a bale of hay and use the pitchfork to like throw it over like a big old thing, like a field goal looking thing. So all of the stuff is like very old school, like strongman competitions. And women.
Yeah.
The women were insane too.
Did you fall in love?
Yes, a couple times.
Oh my gosh, I remember one of the only good things about where I went to high school at is we would have a Scottish festival, and they would do that with like these wood logs, and they'd be like wearing kilts.
Oh, nice.
And they'd like flip it. It was like insane every time to go watch.
Yeah. Yeah, they had like a bagpipe like competition, so that like a bunch of bands and like solos and stuff. So it was a lot of fun. I'm a sucker for a good bagpipe.
Yeah. See, that's the difference. I grew up next to the high school, and for some reason our high school was hella into bagpipes. So I remember like 6 a.m. during the summer, it was like, and oh my God, take me now.
But like high school bagpipers are a lot different than like professional bagpipers, I feel like. Though some of them were high schoolers. So
the thing is, if you're good with a bagpiper, that sounded weird how I said that. If you're good at the bagpipes, you are good at the bagpipes. Yeah. But if you are bad, you're
very bad.
I feel there's like no in between. I feel like there's a lot of sports where it transitions, and that's one where it's one side or the other.
Maybe you could play like the flute, maybe. But yeah. No, they're sick.
That's
though.
The progression tool.
Yeah.
Is the flute
the bagpipes
with hot
are one
cross
of those things I always wanted to learn, but like how do you get into bagpipes? You know, like that's got to be something like your parents did and their parents did. Like you don't just like become a bagpiper. I feel like unless your school offers it, like yours did for some reason. That's weird.
Yeah, isn't that weird? I think about my high school sometimes, and I'm like,
it's a weird place.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. My other alluring thing is that I'm back after quitting after last episode. It was a very, very short hiatus, so thanks for letting me come back.
I didn't realize till writing the episode description that you were so done with the horchata comment that we didn't even say like the one or the two takeaways.
We
You're
just
like, I'm
ended it.
out.
There was no need for a takeaway last episode. Oh man.
I know. I've had a few people like, you guys are so sweet. Message. They're like, is Ryan really leaving? And some
Yes.
people, they're like, Kimmy, are you okay? Because they're like, can you keep a co-host? I'm like, you guys need to all step off for
Yeah.
like 2 seconds.
It's all right,
like,
guys. I'm back for now. We'll see.
I
How
haven't
this
scared him
episode
off
goes. Yeah.
quite yet.
What was your Aloreing thing this week?
Oh my god. Well, like, I have a lot of plans coming up,
Yeah.
and I just feel like I'm in this little rowboat, and the sea storm is coming to me. Like, I'm really excited for a lot of this stuff happening. I don't know. I'll tell this one because, like, I don't like telling too much about what's happening because I am a woman and it's
Yeah.
constant paranoia from all the murder podcasts I listen to. But we're going to Edgar's brother's wedding, so that's going to be really fun.
Yeah.
And then it's going to be very fun because it's a night wedding and it is going to be followed by a very, very early flight. So I'm not excited for that. I
Yeah.
think we have to be at the airport at like 5
a.m.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm like, oh, Lord, take me
After
now.
a
So,
nighttime wedding.
yeah.
Oh
and
boy.
it
Could not
and
be
we
me.
don't yeah, we're so curious. Like, I'm super curious of what the wedding's going to be like because Edgar, his family's Mexican, and his brother, his soon-to-be wife, she's Russian. So
Oh.
I was like, are we going to be like staying up all night?
Yes.
I know.
Just don't sleep. I mean, if anything before 7 a.m., I just don't sleep.
I just been to too many Utah weddings where
Yeah.
it's like you show up at 8,
It's a
you
lunch.
go home
It's
by
just a
10.
lunch. Yeah.
And because they don't want to pay for the venue at night, and I'm just like,
Smart.
I know this is not going to be what happens. So I'm like, I was like, we may get there, go to sleep, go to the wedding, fly back home, and be out for a whole 24 hours.
Yeah.
But I'm excited. I have that. We're going to the beach in a few weeks, which I need. I've been very dehydrated from sea salt water, and it does take on my soul. So I am very excited. So a lot of like exciting trips to come. I need a vacation. I'm starving for a vacation.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we both have vacations coming up next
yeah?
month. So next month might be a little sporadic, guys. Just heads up now. We're
the
gonna do our
best
best.
part, the best part is next month is our 1-year pod
Yes.
anniversary.
And we're celebrating by both being on vacation separately.
Woo!
Yeah.
So that'll be fun. You guys will just be part of the chaos and join our live streams if we do them. We'll see what happens. But we will not be following each other to our vacation destinations, but there will be something that may follow you to your destinations.
Good transition.
Oh.
Cue campfire sounds. I thought I forgot my water. I got it. Don't worry, guys.
I know I have my tea today.
When night's dark mantle has covered all, I come in a fire arrayed. Many a victim I've seen fall, or fly from me dismayed. Will-o-the-wisp, they trembling cry, will-o-the-wisp, 'tis he. To mark their fright as off they fly is merry sport for me. I dance, I'm here, I'm there. Who tries to catch me catches but air. The mortal who follows me follows in vain, for I laugh, ha ha, laugh, ho ho. I laugh at their folly and pain. Many a traveler I deceive, and with their parting breath I hear them call in vain for help, and dance around them in death. And dance around them in death. Will-o-wisp, they trembling cry, will-o-wisp 'tis he. To mark their shrieks as they sink and die is merry sport for me. I said it a couple times, but what are we talking about this week, Kimmy?
So everyone, on your next nighttime adventure, remember not to stray from the path. If you stumble upon a phantom light hovering off the beaten trail, it's best you ignore it and continue on your way. It may seem like a playful light, but lore from around the world says otherwise. And if you change the slide, you'll see my lovely picture that I've drawn. And my constant need for validation. I hope you guys like it.
It's nice.
Thank you. One day I'll put a stick figure up and I'll still need that validation, so it will be fine. So this week, we will be talking about the will-o-the-wisp, a mysterious entity that can be found lurking deep in the forest and near traveler trails around the world. These mischievous creatures are known pretty much everywhere, but most commonly have been spotted haunting the swamps and moors of the British Isles, specifically around the 13th century. So, these whimsical lights have been told in legends around the world orally for centuries. People of Cornish, Nordic, I am sorry, my phone was in a bad spot, and if I lifted the whole table...
It was a will-o-wisp.
It's a will-o-the-wisp, actually. Also, we're changing our episode layout real quick. We hope you guys enjoy. Have fun figuring out what we changed about it. Ooh. So, anyway, so people of Cornish, Nordic, and Albagorian traditions would warn others of the dangerous phantom lights through legends passed down from one generation to the next. It wasn't until the 13th century that European written records reported ghostly lights that would lurk in the forest and fields at night. So this is another cool little picture that we have going on. It's called the phenomenon of nature. And I thought it would be
this exact same photo because I liked it so much, and then I saw you used it.
That's okay. It just means that we have good taste.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it means. So this is a very classic one, which is why I wanted to use it. So before diving into the lore of the will-o-the-wisp, I want to discuss a few different versions of them from around the world. Also, really bad even at English, which is my native language, so bear with me as I struggle through how to say all of these. So Erbloos are from the Netherlands, and they also go by Liko Li Eko and Legmenand. Sure, that sounds great. And they are the souls of unbaptized children, and these mischievous lights will guide people into the water where they can be tricked into being baptized.
Is this going to be the fastest Catholic Church alarm we have go off? Is it starting early?
I put a note because all I could think of while reading that was that there's a priest that's in the water and he has his eyes just above it and he goes
alligator
soon and lurks down into the water. What would it be called? The alligator baptism, and he just snaps up like an alligator and grabs you. Gets you and pulls you down.
Yeah, and spits you back out for some reason.
Throws you back on shore.
Yeah.
And he just looks at you from behind,
menacingly.
the pond leaves. He's like, it was time, and goes back. I also like to think he pays the will-o-the-wisp to help him do it.
Yeah.
Because that just seems way more entertaining to me. These ones are also known to be guarding buried treasure that can only be found using a dead man's hand or after eating seed from a magical fern. So it gets a little iffy there. If the baptism thing wasn't iffy enough, non-consensual baptism.
Seeds, they mean mushrooms, and by magical fern, they also mean mushrooms, which I think can be what explains most things that come from that part of the world.
Oh, yeah. It's all in the mushrooms.
Yes.
Perfect. All right. Okay, so the next one is Alia, and they're from Asia, and they also go by Crispati, and they are strange lights that haunt a spot where a person has died.
No.
A little bit more. The other's tragic.
It's more like traditional ghost orb type situation.
Way more just straight up paranormal.
Yeah.
The next one is Luz Mala from South America. Also goes by La Candelilla. I'm not good at Portuguese. I should be.
Candeleja, maybe?
My mother's
I
turning
guess.
over.
Aaron,
So.
can we get your mom to do a voiceover this episode?
Oh, totally. Yeah, let's
Kimmy's
do
mom.
it. She has such a cute voice. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mom. Okay, so these are the spirits of the dead known to carry phantom lights. The next one is Fille Follette, and they're part of Creole traditions
I think
in
that's just
Louisiana.
Creole.
How do you say that?
Creole?
Creole.
Creole.
Creole. Okay,
Like-
there. I just got a Western
it's
it.
like-
No. Creole
It's like
traditions in
Cajun.
Louisiana.
It's like Cajun, Jamaican, Haiti, like that culture.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can't do any of those accents. I make Western, but that's all I got. So, anyway, these are illuminated souls of people who have been sent back to Earth to atone for their wicked ways. So again, more of the churchy vibe with that one. It's like bouncing, kind of.
Yeah.
And then the last one is Minmin, and it's from Australia, and these are lights that follow travelers once they've been spotted. And if the traveler turns around to try to follow the light will disappear and never be seen again.
Don't go towards the light. Is that where that comes from?
Oh, maybe. I don't know. I feel like that was... No, that makes sense. No, I'm gonna give that to you. You can have that one.
Benito says, absolutely butchered it, Kimmy.
What was it?
In YouTube, Andy says, absolutely butchered it, Kimmy.
Thanks. Thanks for looking out for me, Andy. I appreciate you. You guys are here for a fun time, not an accurate time. That's what I need a shirt to say. Oh, okay. So these deceitful and dangerous creatures have been known by many names around the world. So now jumping to Europe's written records, you'll see that they have many other different names. And by many different names, I was able to find 18 to be exact.
You need some help with this list? That's a long list.
No, I got it. Do you
Okay.
not believe in me, Ryan?
No, that's just a lot. Like to read back to back. I'm just looking out for your voice.
Do you want to switch off? Like I do
Yeah,
odds, you do evens.
Let's do it.
Let's do as quick as we can.
Yep.
Yeah, go. You start.
Okay. Joanne the Wad.
Will-o-the-Wisps.
Ghost Candles.
Hinky Punk.
That one's cool. Spunkies.
Sneaky. I loved that one. Sorry. Okay. Corpse Candles.
Friar's Lantern.
Foxfire.
Walking Fire.
Will the Smith. Not Will Smith.
Keep my will-o-the-wisp. Jack-o'-lantern.
Pinkett.
Hobby lanterns or Hobbity's lanterns. Hobbity being the devil.
Jonah the Wad.
That's what we started with. Jenny with the lantern. We
Oh.
did Joanne the Wad twice. That's fine. That's fine.
It's fine.
Jenny
I
with the
may be really
lantern.
tired. It's fine. The Lantern Man.
Pega lantern. You're gonna do what to that lantern?
It's a very.
I feel like you made that one up.
I did not. I wish I did, and I wish I could have perfectly planned it. No, Ryan, that's actually what I did. I was like, I want to trick him into helping me. I want to be he's going to be an empath, and
Yep.
since I need help, I want to make him do all the odd numbers just so he ends on
Yep.
peg a lantern.
Peg lantern. All right.
And then finally, Ignis Fatuus. No, that's not right. And this is one of the most popular ones, and they are referred to a Latin phrase which means foolish fire or fire that is only an illusion. So with all these different examples of phantom lights, it makes you wonder, why do so many cultures warn people of these ominous lights? What makes them so dangerous? Well, we're going to turn it over to Ryan to tell us all about the encounters.
Bum, 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 bum. All right. I got. Oh, commercial breaks after my stories. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, we're switching the
I
layout
forgot
up.
we mixed up our layout. Everything's throwing me off now. Anywho, I have a couple stories. So this one is a blacksmith named Will. The Will-o-the-Wisp is carried by the blacksmith named Will. Will was a troublemaker during his life, so when his time came and he met St. Peter at the pearly gates, he was rejected. St. Peter didn't allow him into heaven. St. Peter sent Will back to earth to reform during his second life. Will, however, did not change, and was more chaotic in his second life than his first. Classic Will.
Classic Will.
A disappointed St. Peter cursed Will to roam the earth forever with no place to go. The devil, however, was impressed by Will's evil doing and also took pity on him. He gave him a piece of coal to warm himself on the cold earth nights. Will, being a creature of habit, used the coal to make a torch and lured innocent travelers into danger.
Moral of the story, you can't change a man.
Exactly. So that's the first explanation of where it came from. This next one is from the 1800s, or the 1880s, sorry.
Yeah, that's way different.
Yeah. I mean...
tomatoes, tomatoes.
Yeah. We're almost talking 1900s here, not quite. All right. The tale involves...
I just had like a midlife crisis.
Yeah.
Like my 30s just beckoned to me from behind the door, like
1880. My back feels like it sometimes. So this tale involves a devil that is not too bright and his encounter with an old man by the name of Sion Daffyd. This man lived in the hills of Arfon, and he used to converse much with the one child of the bottomless pit. I'll come up later, don't worry. One morning, Sion was on his way to... See, now it's my turn to butcher. Lionfair Fetchin, carrying a flail on his shoulder, for he had corn. When should he meet his old friend from the pit with a bag on his back and in two little devils like himself? After conversing for some time, they began to quarrel and presently were in the middle of a terrible fight. Sion fell to basting the devil with his flail. Devils, not the actual devil. For those confused, Sion went to go visit his friend. They got in a fight. He started beating his friend with the flail. Yes. Until the bag containing the two little ones went all into pieces, and the two, tumbling out, fled for their lives to a place, Rye-wee-Filshi, which village is considered to this day as a very wicked place. Sion then went his way rejoicing and did not for a long time encounter his adversary. Eventually, however, they met, and this time, Sion had a gun. Yeah.
Oh, can I put a request in?
Yeah.
Can I do one of the voices, and you do one of the voices?
Yeah, you could be the devil.
Oh, okay. This is how I'm feeling the devil is today.
Mm-hmm.
What's that long thing you're carrying there?
Oi, that's my pipe. Trying to be a 1880s English man.
Then the devil asked, "Shall I have a wolf off of it?"
"You shall," was Sion's reply, and he placed the mouth of the gun in the devil's throat and drew the trigger. Well, that was the loudest report from a gun that was ever heard on the earth. I don't know how you're going to say that.
The pipe is very foul.
This story makes no sense. I'm sorry. After a lapse of time, Sion met him again in the guise of a gentleman, but the Welshman knew it was the tempter. He knew this devil came back, even though he shot him in the throat. This time, he made a bargain for which he was ever afterwards sorry. He sold himself to the devil for a sum down, but with the understanding that whenever he could cling to something, the devil should then not control him. One day, when Sion was busily gardening, the devil snatched him away into the air without warning, and Sion, about giving up all hopes of returning to earth, when he thought to himself, I'll ask the devil for one last favor. The devil listened. All I want is an apple, said Scion, to moisten my lips to bite down below. Let me go to the top of my apple tree. I'll pick one.
Is that all?
Of course, Scion laid hold of the apple tree and hung on. The devil had to leave him, but the old reprobate was too wicked for heaven, and the devil, having failed to take him to the other place, was turned into a fairy. This is now the jack-o'-lantern. So that may have been confusing, so let me break this down in not 1880s text. So we got this guy, Scion. He goes and he fights the devil. Not sure why. There's a little bit of backstory missing. He beats the devil with a flail, gets away, comes back later, and is like, I'm going to shoot the devil. But then the devil doesn't die because it's the devil. And then he basically makes a deal with the devil, like, oh, you'll get whatever you want for the rest of your life. Like, just do what I want because I'm the devil. You know, he sold his soul. But when the devil went to take him, he just hung on to a tree. And the devil just gave up, I guess. I don't
Yeah,
yeah.
Pretty much the main protagonist is just an asshole.
Yeah.
So that's why he's picking a fight with a devil.
Yeah.
He's just like trying to flex.
Yeah. And then he won. But because he kind of sold his soul, he also couldn't get into heaven, but he kicked the devil's ass. So he kind of got stuck in an in-between.
On an apple tree.
Yeah. This one's from 2016, so hopefully we get a little more modern English in this story. In 2016, Genevieve Hammond. Very interesting.
I didn't even realize
husband,
that.
John Hammond went camping. Are you related to Genevieve Hammond?
No, I have an S at the last name, so it's
Oh.
Hammons.
Oh,
But
okay.
everyone always
Very
writes
close.
it with a D.
That makes, yeah.
So.
They spent the night in a tree-starved remote cattle station in the western Queensland Channel country. This wasn't something out of the ordinary for them, so they enjoyed the evening as the sun vanished behind the horizon. That's a nice night. As the darkness swept in, it became eerily quiet, and that's when they saw something they couldn't comprehend. The ghost light. Now, a greenish oval-shaped blurry light was bobbing up and down about half a mile away. It hovered about 3 feet off the ground, but always kept its distance from them. The light moved slowly and would then fade out and fade back in, doing this for about 15 minutes. As they stared at the light, they tried to rationalize, what could it be? Was it a car? A neighbor? It couldn't be either of those things because the nearest home was about 75 miles away. That's when they realized it had to be the Minmin. The Minmin lights from the legends they had heard as they grew up. This is Australia. Yeah, you already talked about
Yes.
Minmins. We're good.
Yeah, they're
I was
from
going to try and
Australia.
catch people up, but go listen to Kimmy's part. Come on, what are you doing? All they
Rewind
knew,
it?
yeah,
And then come back?
yeah, come back if you forgot. All they knew was to never touch these lights. 'Cause remember, if you follow these lights, you're going to die. And thankfully, they didn't. And once it was gone, they continued with their camping trip. The next day, still feeling uneasy about what they witnessed, John went to inspect the spot, but there was nothing there. Growing up with the legend, they still couldn't believe what they saw, but they knew it was the Minmin lights.
I love Minmin. It makes us seem so much less chaotic
Yeah.
than it actually is.
And a little fun note from the article. Apparently, it's very common to see these lights in the in that part of the country, the Shelley Norton. And the city council's tourism officer said people will come in all the time, unsure of what they saw, and their answer is always the Minmin lights. Some people have even reported the lights following them, splitting into two, and dancing in the trees.
Aww, that just sounds cute.
Yeah, until you follow it and die.
Yeah, well, when you see a pretty girl and you follow her and die, that's kind of your thing too.
Yeah, this is
so
just a light, you know?
yeah, exactly. Oh,
Yeah.
well,
But you
well,
know
there's
what
a
else you
place.
should
Where's the
follow?
Aloreing bucket list? Sorry.
Oh. Yeah. What else you should follow is the sponsor of today's episode. We'll be right back. I'm gonna go drink some water.
Hey campers, Camp Counselor Mothman here to show you what's new in shop. Show your enthusiasm for your favorite cryptids with these Aloreing cryptid inspired merch items. We've got blankets, shirts, beanies, and more. If you're wanting to be a cryptid hunter, getting them in sticker form is the most humane way to do so, and it's the easiest way to build up your collection of cryptids. And look at this, they made a whole Mothman collection inspired by yours truly. This vintage design comes in 2 different shirt styles to pick from, plus there are mugs and scrunchies too. There's no better way to show love for your state than wearing a cryptid shirt inspired by them. We have Chupacabra, Sasquatch, Slenderman, live in shop with new ones added monthly. Don't forget to head over to the Aloreing shop right now to snag up your favorite items.
Welcome back, campers. We hope you enjoyed that little break.
Yeah.
Well, still figuring out Mothman. Send us your voices ASAP because a Western Kimmy voice may be the worst case for a Mothman voice.
Worst case scenario.
And I'm not ready for that. And you're not ready for that. No one's ready for that.
Ready for that. I hope nobody submits anything to get a Western Kimmy Mothman.
Voices are not my... I can do like one princess voice, and that's all I got in my repertoire. Okay. Now, I want to tell you all about what this creature looks like. So, with the high amount of sightings around the world, it amazes me how the appearance of this entity is so consistent. It will appear as a ball of light, usually a bluish color with a very faint green glow. In rare cases, it appears to have a red glow instead of a blue one, or there's a dark figure that can't be described, but you can tell it's carrying it in a light or a lantern or a torch. The glowing of the light also varies. Some say it is so bright they have to squint just to look at it, and others say it's so dim you can barely notice it. The size of the light can also vary from a candle flame to the head of a human adult, so it's not like too dramatic of a scale like I feel the jackalope was. But it's like
apparently the size of a horse.
Just enough where like at a distance it can kind of mess with you, you know.
Gotcha.
The light also moves in smooth hypnotic motions, swaying back and forth as it tries to lure people to their possible doom. And in a few instances, the orbs are known to shapeshift into different forms, such as horses, bulls, or even an eagle. I think these ones were referred to as like the firewalks or something, because they can like turn into creatures. I couldn't find them.
Is this the Peg-a-lantern?
It's the Peg-a-lantern. Is that 5 legs? So now you wouldn't have guessed. I'm broke crying.
Oh, that's good.
Don't you like how I try to say it real quick and then go to the next segment? Oh, okay, so now you wouldn't have guessed, but there's a lot of personality to these glowing orbs, and that's clear from just the name. Wisp means a bundle of sticks sometimes used as a torch, and when combined with will, it becomes the will of the torch. They aren't controlled by anyone, and they're their own spirits, which makes for their mischievous personalities. So these lights may appear harmless, but the bright light emitted from them only masks the dark personality of the wisps. So with their desire to do evil and play tricks and not being the most friendly creatures, it's important to use great caution when approaching them. They will use their light to guide travelers onto long roads, off beaten paths, into dangerous land, that can even guide you into the Fey Kingdom or into a hole in the ground and trap you. Which, nah, you don't want either of those. The Fey Kingdom sounds nice.
Peg a lantern.
The Fey Kingdom may have a peg lantern in there. I'm gonna be sad if that's what this episode name ends up being. The will-o-wisp and the peg lantern.
It will be. It will be. You've spoken it into existence.
Oh my goodness. So now you are wondering why you would even want to follow one of these. Well, there is a chance that they can lead you to a thief, fairy, or leprechaun's buried treasure. So
Wow.
it's just like, how down are you on your luck?
Yeah.
Like, if you have a good family, good support system, good job, nah, you're not going to risk it. But if your life is shit, this may be the way out.
Or you're just trying to spice it up a little bit.
Oh, that's fair. Maybe you want to do a wild card thing.
Yeah.
Maybe the fire sign season is beckoning in your heart.
Yeah, the moon's going away or something like that, and
It's a full moon.
yeah,
It's Aries season. You
Something
feel it
like
in your
that,
soul. It is time.
the Taurus is rising.
The Taurus. Taurus is rising. Oh, okay. Whoa.
I'm
Sorry,
pretty
that
sure
made
I got
me.
that right.
Yeah, that's totally what it is. I'm not even going to correct you. I'm going to let you have that. One day I'll tell you about astrology. You'll realize all the reasons, all the things. Your third eye will open up.
Oh,
Your Taurus will rise. Oh, that works out so well. Okay, so another reason why people look for them is they have the ability to predict your future. So like you meet them and you'll see your future and your intended life path and what you're supposed to do in life. But the other side is they can also show you how you die. So it's like the deck of many things from
yeah.
Dungeons and Dragony games, you know?
Yeah, you don't know what you're gonna get.
You can get a mansion or you could die. So you just gotta figure out like the pros and cons, I guess.
Yeah.
So now I think it's important to bring up some lore that says they're actually delightful creatures that protect travelers from danger. It's a very small percentage though. Way more trickster personalities. So if you see one, be cautious of them. Don't follow them off a beaten path. Sorry, I was thirsty. Okay. So now that you know what they look like, I want to shift to the effects these creatures have had throughout time. At first, everyone considered them to be dangerous omens. But as time went on, and there was more stories, more lore, more legends, people were like, oh, they lead you to treasure. They give powers for the future. They're harmless, adorable little lights. So with all these different possibilities of what the will-o'-the-wisp could be, writers quickly fell in love and adopted them to many literature pieces at the time. Excuse me. So if you look at this picture, I love this painting because they're like, look people-y, and they're like dancing around a snake. I think it's very delightful. So I'm definitely diving more into the literature, but this is definitely a cute art piece from just popularity of these creatures. So the first appearance of these lights in the English language occurred in 1563. So the Book of Metters by William Fluke under the name Ignis Fatuus. And as time went on, writers would incorporate these ethereal light spirits as a plot device. So from William Shakespeare, Bram Stoker, and John Milton to even more modern time legends, including Harry Potter or the Lord of the Rings trilogy, these creatures were perfect to include in any type of fantasy novel due to their mixed reviews of their personality. So as a reader, you never knew what they were going to do, and it made it as a good plot point. Because like me, a movie predictor, which is why I don't watch movies a lot, you don't know if they're good or bad. So it makes for way interesting stories. So
when you said earlier, like they can turn into like different animals, I was thinking like the Harry Potter spell where they like cast the deer, the light deer. So now, suspicion confirmed.
Well, I don't know. You probably You probably were forced to read Midsummer in high school from
No.
William Shakespeare. Shakespeare? Oh my God. William
I,
Shakespeare, Midsummer.
my high school county was ranked the lowest in the country at one point. So no, we did not read Midsummer in high school.
I know, my high school is sounding so high class. We had bagpipes and we read Midsummer.
We had sports.
Yeah, well, my high school wasn't successful, so take that as you will.
Oh, we weren't good at sports, but we had them.
But you had them.
Yeah, but anyway, no, I did not read Midsummer.
But in it, so one of the things will-o-wisp can sometimes be referred to as pucks, and in Midsummer, there's a mischievous fairy that causes chaos, and his name is Puck, and he transforms like those animals. So that's just like another like interesting. There's so many different ones. So many different examples in literature. I want to tell you guys 4 because I feel it touches base on every different kind that you see. So in 1795, John Wolfgang von Goethe's fairy tale The Green Snake and the Beautiful Lily describes them at lights that consume gold and can shake gold pieces. So little dancer lights. In Emily Dickinson's poem, Those Dying Then, she talks about them being souls that linger in the absence of God. So very Catholic. We're jumping all around here. In 1983, Michael End's fantasy novel, The Never-Ending Story, starts when the will-o-the-wisp goes to the childlike empress and asks for help against the nothings, which is a darkness that spreads over the lands. This is in the book, not the movie. The movie doesn't do this.
I was gonna say I don't remember that part in The Never-Ending Story.
I watched that movie a lot, and I don't remember that.
I was gonna ask if you've seen it.
No, I watched that too many times. I always watching fantasy and anime as a little kid.
I don't remember the story at all. I just remember the song when he's riding the dog.
The dog, yeah.
It's a never-ending story.
That's all you need to remember from that movie.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
But I like this Will-o-the-Wisp because it gave me very Legend of Zelda.
Yeah.
Like Ocarina of Times vibes, and I thought that was very adorable. But that's just Zelda. Anyway, I'm going to ramble about Legend of Zelda. Yeah. I just love it. You guys just need to know that's one of my top 5 things. In 2004, Bolly Black's children's fantasy series, The Spiderweight Chronicles, described them as fat fireflies that lead travelers astray. And I really enjoyed that series as well.
Yeah,
so
I forgot about the Spiderweight Chronicles. Those were good.
Yeah, I think I have it. It's too far away. I have like one of their old guidebooks.
Yeah.
That you like fold and you can look at the pictures and the hidden notes.
I completely forgot about the Spiderweight. I feel like that was so many like young children's introduction into like folklore.
Yeah, that was the gateway drug.
Yeah, like most of their stories were very wrong, but they're cool.
Well, they were the children versions, and as we've learned, lore isn't the most delightful thing.
You said they're the gateway drug. Book.
Yes.
Yeah.
Get your kids Spiderweight Chronicles.
Get them hooked early.
Start them young.
Yeah. You heard it here first, folks.
So these are all different examples of how they were used in literature. These orbs of light even found their way into paintings, plays, poems, and music. Honestly, everyone seemed to love these creatures and use them as something ominous or delightful. So you'll go to the next slide, and it is never too early to discuss spooky season. And so as time went on, some stories about these entities stuck more than others. One of the more popular ones is their ties to jack-o'-lanterns. This is due to the fact that Stingy Jack carried around a lantern that could be easily mistaken for a will-o'-wisp floating about. So if you wish to learn more about it, check out our episode 12, Don't Be Stingy, Jack, where we talk about him and the history of jack-o'-lanterns. So I'm not going to go too much into it because of time, and we have another whole episode for that. So then you can go binge that and have a good night. All right, so now Ryan,
Yes.
Knowing all you know about jack-o'-lanterns,
Okay.
I have a new segment.
Mhm.
This is how I'm gonna introduce it. I'll see if I feel like it next time.
All right.
It is time for, is it science or the Catholic Church?
Oh, my favorite game.
All right. Everything you know.
Show me. Wait. Go ahead.
What do you think? Do you think it's the Catholic Church?
It's always
science?
the Catholic Church.
Oh. I forgot you had the sound for it. That was fucking amazing. Oh my god. Wow. It's great.
Dang it.
This is great.
I had two buttons. I had an excited button and a not so excited button, and unfortunately I hit the...
I figured the segment out for future stories, so you'll be able to use it more in the future. But
I'm gonna get it right next time.
I get why you think the Catholic Church, but you need to keep in mind all the stuff involving the church is pro-baptism. So there's nothing anti or could be anti-church in it. So it is science, surprisingly. So if you change to the next slide, I got some science facts for you today. So the most common explanation is that there is a type of glowing bioluminescent fungus or algae that is commonly grown in marshy areas. Under the right conditions, these fungi can produce bluish lights, a lot like how fireflies undergo a unique chemical process to produce lights. So these plants do the same thing. So this is a long exposure photo, so they're not really that bright. This is like, I think like an hour or so. Wow. But they glow all pretty like.
Yeah, that's really
and then
pretty.
Isn't that cool? It's like, if that's the glow the orbs have, I get it. I would just follow it to death.
Yeah.
So another possible explanation is the mixture of gases in the wet, swampy areas result in this light. So, really simplified version, due to the decomposition of plant materials, it will release methane. Once the methane from the plants that were dissolved in the swampy areas hits the air, it will spontaneously combust. This creates a burning orb of light that floats above the marsh. And since they're most commonly seen in swamp areas, it's like, oh, well, that makes sense. So I thought that was interesting. I thought it was going to be Catholic Church stuff too.
Is there an option 3?
No, those are the two science-y explanations to what it could be.
Have you considered option 3? A man named Sion beat the shit out of the devil twice and then got stuck between heaven and hell, therefore lights the night for unsuspecting travelers.
Option 3 is Sion that lights the night.
That's what I thought.
That'd be a cool shirt. Sion lights the night.
Yeah, Sion's kind of a dick, though. I don't know if I want to.
Yeah, you don't want to support that.
No.
You don't want to be represented by that.
I mean, it's hard to tell because it was Old English, but it feels like maybe he killed a child in that first paragraph. But it's a toss-up.
It sounds like maybe he was the jerk to the devil, which is a
sounded
lot.
like he was hitting the devil with a sack of children, but I really couldn't tell what was happening.
Maybe not make a shirt about a dude that beats the devil with children.
Maybe not. We'll leave that to someone else.
You guys can take that.
Yeah,
we won't
yeah,
TM
that's
it.
all yours.
That's all you.
Merry Christmas. You're welcome.
I'm trying to think. Oh, I just had I had a third thing. I was like, well, it could have been this, but it's not relevant. Someone can comment on it. You can be the smarty pants for it. So now, okay, so this explains a lot. Oh, I remember. I'm so sorry, you guys. I didn't write this down, but I still want to bring it up. Holy shit, I can't believe I just forgot it. No, let me read it. I got it. Just give me like 2 seconds. Oh, so another science thing is they believe like we aren't seeing as much anymore is because there's not as much swamp area. Like we have built walls and cities and all that stuff, you know. So that's another thing to kind of keep in mind. But I don't know. This just doesn't explain it because it doesn't explain all the lights that people see that aren't near swamps, because all these instances have to be in like the right climate to survive. Because there's actually a lot of will-o-the-wisp sightings in deserts And I remember having a weird thing when I was little. It's just like in Arizona, you know? It's like that's not swamp.
Yeah, my third story literally said like in the middle of a cattle ranch far away from any trees. So
Yeah.
like specifically said like there were no trees around.
Yeah, so personally, I'm like, nah, like it explains some stuff, but it doesn't explain all of the sightings.
A man beating up the devil makes a lot more sense.
The devil beating with children,
Makes a lot more
100% more sense. So it's hard to dismiss. I think this could be more of a paranormal phenomenon. Someone says it's aliens. I feel like there's always some guy out there in the crowd that's like, aliens! So I'll put it there, but
Ignore those people most of the time.
we just do this.
We're a folklore podcast.
We're folklore guys. So whether you believe these are just balls of gas, delightful creatures that will lead you to treasure, or maybe even malicious ones sure to prank and trap you, be cautious of the wandering will-o'-the-wisp. Though beautiful, there is no telling what will happen if you run into one. Oh, and last note, don't go catching one, because if you do, you'll end up disappearing with it, never to be found again. Ooh. Now, it's your turn.
This is going to be a quick little short segment. Welcome to Modern Takes with Ryan. So, in researching the Will-o'-the-Wisp, there was only one movie that really captures the essence of how just absolutely terrifying running into a will-o'-the-wisp can be. And that is, of course, Disney's Cars, Mater, and the Ghost Light. The short plot synopsis: Mater's driving home after learning about the ghost light that haunts their town. They never call it a will-o'-the-wisp, but I mean, it's the same thing.
It's their world's version of will-o'-the-wisp.
Yeah. And Mater gets home, and in this universe, it's attracted to clanking metal. So then the ghost light starts chasing Mater, and the man shooketh. I'm not going to spoil the ending, but there's some lessons to be learned there. If you see a will-o'-the-wisp and you don't react like Mater, I don't know what to tell you.
It's a very cute little short, and I like it. I like when Disney does like Halloween vibey things because it's so cute and charming. I think they even have like their own version of banshees they talk about in that little show too. They have the car versions of banshees, and I was like, that's so cute.
Can I give a little update on a previous story as well?
Oh yeah.
So as you know, in December we talked about Tim Allen's The Santa Claus, and in January we discovered they're possibly making a sequel, and Tim Allen was on board. We just got terrible news that another star, Elizabeth Mitchell, has also agreed to return to the Santa Claus. So every day it looks a little more like it's happening. I'll be sure to keep you updated if there are any more updates. God help us that there are no more. Yeah, so this has been Modern Takes with Ryan and also Tim Allen's The Santa Claus updates.
I know what I'm going to get you for Christmas.
Please don't. I know what you're thinking. Don't do it. All of them on Blu-ray, DVD.
I'll get you a second one in case you lose the first copy.
Yeah, for our newer listeners, because I know we've gotten quite a few new ones, go listen to the full Santa Claus episode, but if you don't want to, just listen to the last 5 minutes and you'll understand what's going on here. But you should watch the whole thing. It was a good one. Yeah, all right. Well, that's all I got today. Should we hit some announcements before we go to our last slide?
Oh, yes. Yeah, Ryan really loves the Santa Claus movies, everyone. You should mail a copy
Please don't.
of it.
Please don't. I will close the P.O. box.
Speaking of things that you should do, you should celebrate with us this next month. So we are coming up on our 1-year podversary, everyone.
We sure are.
You know what that means. We're going to be celebrating the whole month of May, and it works out great because we're on vacations at different times.
Yep.
So it's going to be a chaotic, beautiful clusterfuck, and we are hyped. And what better way to celebrate than hosting our annual Aloreing Fun Drive? Now, all our listeners are wondering, especially our new ones, what is the Aloreing Fun Drive? Well,
Fun Drive.
once a year, this will be our second one because it will be our 1-year anniversary. We do a special Patreon promotion to get funding to keep the show running. So all our Patreons, new and old, will get a special thank you card, including a sticker, a postcard, and I have made membership cards. Look at these. How nice. And they're
real member.
They're holographic.
Yeah, they're that's nice.
Isn't that cool?
It's real nice.
Look at that.
It's official.
Look at that. Yeah, so you can whip it out
Mm-hmm.
in conversation now.
Yeah, and be like, guys, I'm kind of not an expert, and then whip it out.
Yes.
And everyone who joins as a patron or joins before the promotion in May will get a bonus prize. So if you haven't yet, join today. Now, if you're wondering, how does it work, Ryan? Or what makes this promotion special? Is the more patrons we get during this month, the more we will include in the thank you gift sent out the following month. So if we hit 10 patrons, everyone gets a limited edition Mothman sticker. If we hit 30 patrons, everyone gets a signed illustration print of their choice. And if we hit 50 patrons, not only would I personally cry tears of joy, but, oh yeah, because we could hire an editor. So also, shout out to Chris. He's helping us edit currently. But
Yay,
we
Chris.
will gift all our patrons a campsite kit package. Plus, you can join now for as low as $3 and cancel whenever.
We have more details about prizes and goals on our website. I just finished that today, so check it out. It's Aloreing.com/fundrive2022, or if you just go to our homepage, there's a direct button that you can click on.
And for our 1-year podiversary, we are also wanting to do a special bonus episode. We're wanting to try something different, so we're reaching out to you and asking you to email us your cryptid folklore, spooky encounters, or sightings. We want to read them on the show, so let us know if you choose to stay anonymous or not. We are super excited, so please send in those ASAP to aloreing@gmail.com, or just reach out to us on Discord. That's ALOREING@gmail.com.
Reach out to us on some social forum.
Yeah.
It will ping us. We're not popular enough yet where I can have the pings come up.
Yeah.
So
We will see them.
we will see them. We're not quite. We will get there.
Yeah, we
but
will.
while we're little, enjoy the hipstery
Currently,
parts,
we post
right?
on Instagram, then we get a thing that's like, promoted on 1065. And I'm like,
Yeah. One day. And then finally, if you want to support the show, get a shout out on air, and hear your favorite folklore or cryptid topic, then submit a fan-picked episode today. Go to patreon.com/Aloreing and join at the $25 tier or higher. Not only will you be helping support the show, you'll be making our hearts happy and helping us pick episode topics. Because a lot of times Ryan and I pick episode topics, we just look at all the suggestions people have given and we just like roll a dice and see what happens.
Kimmy says, Ryan, we're doing the will-o-the-wisp today. And I'm like, all right.
You're like, that's what the universe has given me, that's what I'm going to take.
Right.
So not only will you be helping support the show, you'll be making our hearts happy. It means so much, I'm going to say it twice. But you'll also get a cute little thank you postcard, which I don't have next to me. It's over there. It's really cute. I made it. It matches our brand in purple. It has a little Mothman on the other side.
Very cute.
And you may get an illustration So the topic you pick, I will draw something, and you maybe a mini print illustration or a sticker. Depends on the first fan pick we get and what they decide. So you should be the first person.
That's basically a $25 custom artwork. That is a steal, guys.
That is a great way to look at it. $25, I will custom illustrate a bottle lore creature for you. That should be enough for you to be like, I want to go support Aloreing right now for just $25. If you're feeling extra generous, we have a $50 tier that we treat you like a god at, so that one's pretty cool too. But then we'll message you, we'll pick an episode topic, and you'll know when it goes live. So join today. Help support us. It's a great way to suggest a spooky story that we would never discuss. Because sometimes they slip past us, like the doppelganger one. So one more time.
Slip past you, they're right behind you.
Oh, stop it. So one more time. To submit a fan-picked episode, go to patreon.com/Aloreing and join at the $25 tier or higher. That's all the announcements.
Cool.
All right. Let's check out the Aloreing alignment chart.
So I only get one thing on the board, but all of my stories were so drastically different that I wish I had 3.
Okay.
So for my first story, where I talked about like the original, like the blacksmith Jack, who like wasn't good enough for hell. He was just like a troublemaker. He wasn't like hurting anyone. I'd put him a little like neutral evil, more kind of neutral evil. The man who possibly beat the devil with a sack of children, I'd put him down a little more chaotic evil.
Okay.
But the Minmins, just based on my story, we didn't get too deep into like their like actual stuff. They seem like they're just like neutral. They're just a light, you know. Like,
yeah.
If they're kind of based off what you said, where I didn't know that, where they like lead people to their doom.
What did I say about it? I know I just talked about
light
it.
that follows travelers once they're spotted, and if the traveler turns around to try and follow the light, they'll disappear and never be seen again. Then I'd put them a little more neutral evil.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they're... I don't know. I think that's kind of the balance. I feel like definitely the devil beating children.
Yeah.
Scion, the S-dick guy, beating the devil with children definitely is the one evil instance. And that isn't even really the will-o-the-wisp. He's just the holder of the light.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with chaotic... straight. I feel they're just they're chaotic. Like, how can I word this for all of our audio listeners? Maybe if I say like 12 more times.
Like,
80% chaotic, I think is a good, and they're pretty neutral between good and evil.
Yeah, they're just kind of chilling.
Yeah, they're just being cute.
Around, yeah, causing chaos.
Oh, I like that. Okay.
Cool.
Wow, it's so nice when we like agree on something. I don't have to like defend my point of view.
Mm-hmm. Unless the will-o-wisp was a beautiful woman, in which that case, lawful good.
Yeah, 100%. Could you imagine a glowing, beautiful? Because they're pretty already. They're like float and stuff. Mm-hmm. You make that like Bayonetta over. I'd be done. I'd be in the Fae realm like that. Yeah. So now we're going to do it this time. 2 episode takeaways. And I want to start with one. Do you know which one I'm going to start with?
I don't know.
I think you know
it's
which.
Not mine.
Watch out for peg-a-lanterns. Or peg-a-lantern with consent. I like that one.
Mine's similar, so I'm just going to add on to yours. And if your will-o-wisp has a 5th leg, don't follow it.
Peg-a-lantern with consent, and if your will-o-the-wisp has a 3rd leg, don't follow. 5th leg, don't follow. Perfect. I don't. The most wholesome stories we've done the entire
Yeah.
That's how we're going to end it. I
how we're gonna end it.
completely support that.
Thank you, everybody.
Oh my goodness. Thanks so much for listening, you guys. This has been Aloreing.
You have an alluring day. Watch out for that fifth leg, and we'll catch you in the next episode.
Bye.